All right, we're back on Gangs All Here. Jake Brown, Brian Costello. We brought him out in the final weeks when it matters most. We went to the heavy hitters. He hosted for a quarter of a century on WFAN. You can now hear him on the Oh the Pain podcast Mondays and Fridays. Joe Benigno _real on Twitter. Joe Benigno on Gangs All Here. Last time we had you on, we had it over the phone. Now we're face to face. Me and you rocking the jerseys. You got the Maynard. I got the Lavernius Cold,
Yes.
old and new.
Great
Welcome.
receivers.
Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, guys. Thank you.
Now, you sang for us last time. Maybe we'll have you sing
Did
some
I
holiday
sing?
tunes
Well, you
later.
never know. I mean, I'm always prone to sing. I sing every day to my wife, and she don't really want to hear it. And I also sing. Let me tell you this: before every podcast, I sing.
Oh.
I don't put it out, but I do.
All right. Well, we may put it out at the end of this. It is the holiday season. Maybe we'll get like Silent Night or something more jolly.
Maybe White Christmas, something like that.
Yeah, a Mike White Christmas.
Mike White Christmas.
Mike White, that's right.
Yes,
I forgot. That's right.
How
Mike
pumped are
White.
you about that? Mike White's cleared. He's playing
Delirious.
in Seattle. A totally different feeling for us right now going into Sunday.
Delirious. And let's be honest, okay? And I don't buy any of this other nonsense. He could have played against the Lions. They wanted to get, because the owner wanted, and I don't care what Costello tries to tell me, the owner wanted to get Zach back on the field. So that's what happened. You can't tell me White couldn't have played in the Lion game. All right. We
The
should have won
owner-
the Lion game anyway.
I do not believe the owner is a Zach Wilson fan. I will say that.
Well, how could he be now?
I don't think he's been for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think he's been for a while. I think he's very much a fan. Like he goes with he I think he saw it, and I don't think there was any conspiracy here. I think Mike White had 3 broken ribs and he couldn't get cleared, and now he's cleared. They're all desperate, Joe. They're desperate to get into the playoffs. They're desperate. They've been 12 years.
Because the fan base isn't desperate to get into the freaking playoffs.
No, but I think the idea that Willie Johnson doesn't want to win is crazy. Like, he wants to win. He wants to win.
Good. I'm glad you tell him.
If you in 2012, if you were saying, "Oh, the Tebow, he's trying something," I was with you then. Now it's like this guy, they got to win, or they got to get in the playoffs, or this franchise is going to be, there's going to be no one in the stands. So I think they're desperate to win, and I think everyone in the building is happy to have Mike White playing quarterback on Sunday.
Yeah, well, I know the fan base is all happy about it. That's for sure.
The feeling, Joe, from like Friday morning where I was screaming my head off on this show saying it's over. Mm-hmm. You need a pipe dream. Now the pipe dream is a reality. Win 2, get 1 loss from the Patriots, and you're in. It doesn't sound so difficult. I mean, take us through your emotions from Friday to as we record this on Tuesday.
Yeah, well, I went to the game on Thursday, and just a complete disgrace. I mean, there's no other way to say it. You knew the game. Let's be honest. You knew the game was over Thursday when Quinn Williams forces that fumble. They got the ball on the 16-yard line, and they don't get a touchdown. I mean, right then and there, that was it. I knew they were dead. And of course on 3rd down he gets sacked. The whole deal, he doesn't see the blitz, whatever. And I think that took the life out of the team. I really do. I thought even the defense got the life sucked out of him after that. I really think that.
Were you outside, Joe? Or were you inside?
I was fortunate. My cousin actually got me into the green room, so I was kind of in and out. I went outside for a little bit. I went back in for a little bit, watched it on TV. I was kind of doing both.
That was a miserable night to be outside.
I was horrible. But I was out for a good portion of it. I was.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That was, when he got the 3rd down sack, I was like, oh, geez. And I think that took the life. And then the Jaguars marched down the field. They ended up kicking a field goal, but they marched down the field on that drive. And then later, what were you able to watch the games over the weekend, Joe? Were you able to watch the Dolphins Packers?
Yeah. Well, I was actually I watched the entire Dolphin Packer game. Sunday. I was home watching. My wife and I were just home Sunday. We went to my son's house on Saturday, and he's a Saints fan, but he's got the package there.
So you're watching everything.
So we were watching the Saints, we were watching the Giants, we were watching the Patriots, and I was fortunate to catch the last 5 minutes of the Patriot game, and was screaming when Jamar Chase fumbles the damn ball, and then was just doing a dance when Stevenson puts the ball on the ground. Oh my God! 2 weeks. I can't believe he's still on the team after what he did in the Raider game. I mean, and what happened in the Bengal game? Bill hasn't cut him yet. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's incredible how the scores fell. CJ Mosley said the football gods were with us. Do you think, as we look to Miami, Do you like Teddy back there better than two? Some people like Teddy. I think two is still better than Teddy, but do you like Teddy now starting
Well,
potentially?
I think two is all. What do you like it from the aspect as a Jet fan, seeing them
Yeah.
lose?
Yeah.
Well, I want them to win this week, to be honest. I want to see them beat the. Let's get the Patriots out of the way right away. Um, uh, do I think? Look, the last time I saw Teddy Bridgewater, Sauce Gardner was annihilating him and knocking him out of the game. So that
Yeah.
was pretty good. Look, I think two is probably better than Bridgewater, but I think two is overrated. I mean, look, they're going to say the reason he threw three brutal picks, threw three Zach Wilson-like picks against the Packers was because of his concussion. But I don't know if I buy it. I think two is overrated. I'll say that. I
How do
don't
you
think Teddy Bridgewater's that far away from Tua. Let's put it that way.
Jake is getting ahead of himself here talking about Miami, Joe. How do you feel about going to Seattle, playing Geno Smith, Pete Carroll, some old friends of the Jets? How do you feel about this game? How do you feel the Jets match up in this one?
Well, I feel better about it that White's playing. I mean,
Yeah.
Seattle's not an easy place to play, but this isn't the same Seahawk team. They've actually lost their last two at home. They lost three straight. They've lost the last two at home. I watched a lot of the game against Carolina because I had money on it, and I watched Carolina just annihilate them running the football. I
Yeah.
mean, they ran the ball down their throat in that game. The Niner game. I know it was a Thursday night game. I don't think I saw much of that. I wasn't surprised they lost to them. I mean, the Jets should beat them. I mean, the Jets are every bit as good, if not better, than the Seahawks. The home field advantage in Seattle, like I said, is not what it used to be. Does it scare me? Does Geno Smith scare me a little bit that he's going to be jacked up to beat his old team? Of course, that does worry me. He's had a pretty good year. I got to give him credit for that. But look, there's no reason that this defense can't. This is not an all-world offense. You do have DK Metcalf. You got Lockett. I think the kid Walker is out, right? Isn't he hurt? The running back.
He's hurt. Yeah, I'm not sure he's going to play. And Lockett's
Right.
hurt too. Lockett had surgery last week on his hand. So
Okay.
they're not sure if he's going to be able to play. I think he had a broken finger they had surgery on. So he might not play too. That's kind of up in the air right now.
I want to see a major effort from the defense. I want to see the defense give me a dominant effort because we all talk about White and the quarterback situation. The defense hasn't been great. The last really good game that I think they had was the second Patriot game.
Yeah.
Since then, even the Bear game, they were missing tackles against the Bears.
Yes.
You saw Sauce get beat by Claypool for a big play. You saw DJ get beat for a touchdown in the end zone. The guy took the ball away from him. You go to the Minnesota game, and they were down 20-3 in the first half. The defense couldn't get off the field. They were hitting third down after third down. And then when the Jets cut the lead to 20-15, the defense let them walk right down the field for what turned out to be the winning touchdown. You go to the Buffalo game, and the great Pro Bowler jumps offside. I mean, unbelievable. I still can't believe that this guy, the veteran, he's been around 130 years. When everybody knows they're not running a play, jumps offside, that turned the whole game around, and they go right down the field for a touchdown. But then they start the second half right down the field, beautiful drive to tie the game, and then the defense lets them walk down the field for a touchdown again. So the defense to me is not playing. And then we saw what happened in the Lion game. The game was won. Win the game. Close them down, please. Even if they get a first down on that 4th and inches, okay, just keep them out of the end zone. We saw what happened in that game. So, and I didn't think the defense played great in the Jaguar game either. I know they only give up 19 points, but still, I do think there was extenuating circumstances because of what happened with, like I said, with the early play with Williams and them only getting a field goal. But the defense to me has got to play a lot better. They got to start taking the ball away. They've only forced 2 turnovers since the bye. And they got to start taking, every time I watch a damn Patriots play, they're scoring a defensive touchdown every week. Yeah. Every week they get a defensive touchdown. Can I see my team for once? I know we blocked the punt for a touchdown this year against the Packers. Can I see one time where my defense scores a touchdown? Can they do that?
Yeah, and Geno Smith, 5 interceptions the last 5 games and a fumble, so he's coming back down to earth, so the defense has to show up. You talked about Sauce Gardner. He might get his jersey, talking about Pro Bowlers. You might get Garrett Wilson, Rookie of the Year. The other Wilson, you will not be getting his jersey, and he might have to be shot into the sun at this point, although Robert Saleh will still say he's part of the future. I think you're with me and most Jets fans. You're fine with the Zach Wilson era being over and him either getting cut or released, or they find a 7th-round pick for him in the offseason.
Absolutely. It's done here for Zach. I don't think there's any question about it. He's not the guy. They made a mistake. I'll give Joe Douglas a pass on this because of the unbelievable draft class of this year, maybe the best we've ever had. It has a chance, especially if Breece Hall comes back and continues to play like he played earlier in the season. I mean, Sauce and Garrett Wilson, and even guys like Michael Clemens. Obviously Brees. This draft class has been off the charts. There's no doubt about it. No doubt. And even
Yeah.
Jermaine Johnson, let me not
Jermaine
forget
Johnson's
him.
showing something.
He's
Yeah.
contributed too. I mean, I don't see why he doesn't play more, but whatever.
Have you let yourself think about next year, Joe, and who you want the quarterback to be? Do you want it to be White, or no matter what, or do you need to see more here?
White. I want it to be White. I want it to be our guy. He's our guy. We're going to go out and trade for Jimmy Garoppolo or Derek Carr. I'll give you a guy, though. I got to tell you, I'm going to give you a guy that if it doesn't work out with White for whatever reason, and hopefully it does, and I want him to be the guy. Of course, if he leads, even if we don't make the playoffs, but if we win these last 2 games, I don't see how you're not going into the season with Mike White as your guy. I mean, I'll say that. But I'm going to give you a name that I think this guy might have something, even though I didn't think he was any good. But he's starting to show me something a little bit. I think he's playing for his career, and that's Baker Mayfield, who's going to be available at the end of the year. I think that's a guy to think about. As crazy as you may think, you're turning your head.
Baker Mayfield in New York.
I worry about him in New York.
You know what?
In New York,
you got to win. If you win,
you got to win. Yeah.
But again, that's down the road. I want Mike White to be the guy. I want to get the Mike White jersey. Let's put it that way. And as I told you before, that's a very, very tough nut to crack for me when it comes to quarterback jerseys.
Baker Mayfield to me feels like Matt Harvey 2.0 in New York. I just don't know the lifestyle. I don't know. I mean, I hope so. Listen, he's proven himself the last few games, but
here's the other thing about it. The guy's been beaten down now. I look at a guy like him, the overall #1 pick. It didn't work out. Remember the one year with Cleveland, he took him to the divisional round. He almost beat Kansas City in the divisional round.
He could be
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he could be Jim Plunkett, right?
He could. He got beat. A lot younger Jim Plunkett, but I mean, he got beat down in Cleveland. He got let go in Carolina.
Yeah.
Now he's playing. Look, I understand that the Rams, they're not going anywhere. He's in a good situation playing with McVay there. I get all of that, but you never know. Quarterbacks are strange.
I do think I could have thrown for 2 touchdowns on the Broncos on Sunday.
Oh, that was terrible. What a disgrace.
That was something.
And I'll tell you, how about the way Seattle fleeced them? For Russell Wilson's done. Let's be honest. Russell Wilson is done. I don't think he wants to play football anymore. And just like we fleeced the Seahawks in the Jamal Adams trade, they fleeced the Seahawks.
They got the Broncos.
The Seahawks fleeced the Broncos in this trade.
Yep. Yeah, they got it back for sure. Yep.
Joe, does your gut say we're getting in, or do you think it doesn't all materialize here?
Well, I don't know. I can't look. They've lost 4 games in a row. White is back. I can't see them losing. They're due to win. I mean, I know Seattle's lost 3 in a row, but I think we're a better team than Seattle. I mean, I just think we're due to win. I like the fact we're not playing at home. We're 3-5 at home. We don't really have a home field advantage still playing in Giant Stadium. You can make it as green as you want. You put the Ring of Honor up and all of that. Doesn't matter. So I actually feel better that they're playing on the road. And I'll tell you, if they win this game, the contingency of Jet fans in Miami is going to be large.
It's going to be huge.
I can tell you that.
Yes. That's going to be a big one.
Yeah.
Where are you at right now, Joe, with Robert Saleh? How do you feel about him? And almost done with year 2.
I'm up and down with him. I want to see him be the guy because I'm sick and tired of the constant revolving. Everybody talks about the quarterback situation, but the constant revolving door of coaches. I mean, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Rex was here for 6 years. It's like an eternity for freaking coaches for the Jets, and the guy was here for 6 years. So I think there's a lot of good things about Saleh. I think they play for him in spite of what happened Thursday night. I think they play for him. I think he's a little too friendly with his players. I've said that before. I think I like to hear him get on his team more than he does. But I think the jury's still out. No matter what happens the rest of this year, I think the jury's still out. Next year, they have to make the play. Next year, there is no gray area. They have to make the playoffs next year.
I still have lost sleep over the timeout usage or lack thereof a few weeks ago, Joe.
That was terrible. That was terrible. I mean, look after that pass to Garrett Wilson for the first down, 40 seconds left in the game. Talking about the Lion game, 40 seconds left in the game. Got to call timeout there. At least he did acknowledge.
He admitted it. Yeah, he admitted it. Yep. Yeah, but, he admitted it. He made a mistake.
But some of the stuff, like he said, I got 3 timeouts. I got plenty of time. What are you talking about? He wound up the game was over. He had a timeout in his pocket.
Yeah, it was funny
But,
because
again, I don't want to see. I'm tired of the revolving door. So I'm not going to say, make the playoffs and then lose the last 6 games and you're done. Next year's the year for sure.
Yeah, the timeout thing. I asked him after the game. I asked him the question, and you could tell when you sort of catch him off guard. And I caught him. He didn't see it coming. I don't think he had processed everything from the game at that point.
Right.
And his answer was terrible after the game. But then I thought the next day he came back and acknowledged it. And they lost that game though because of what you talked about before. Fourth and one,
yep.
Get a damn stop, and then you're not worried about time.
Even give them the first down, but don't let them score a touchdown.
Yeah, just stop them. Yes, stop them.
Right.
All right, Joe Benigno _real on Twitter. Joe, I assume it's not you that ever checks the Twitter, is it?
Oh no, that's my daughter. You can Twitter, please. The only good thing about Twitter is that Elon Musk has bought it now. So that's outside of that. There's really not much that good with Twitter as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
How you feeling about the Mets, Joe? We'll get a Mets question before you go.
I feel good about it. How could I not feel good? I mean, I think they'll get the Correa thing done. I think they'll work something out because here's the bottom line: if this thing falls through, somebody's signing him. Let's be honest. He's 28 years old.
Yeah.
Somebody is going to sign Carlos Correa. Why not us?
Well, I think they have some leverage here too because Boris can't have 2 teams fail him, right? So I think they go to Boris and say,
right.
We'll still sign him, but we have to put language in the contract that if this guy doesn't play, if he plays 60 games or something like that, we can get out of the contract after 2 years. Some kind of language where they can get out. I think Boris is they've got Boris, they got leverage now because he would have failed two signings. So I think they're in good shape there.
No, I feel very good about the Mets, especially the best thing is the owner. We got a real owner. We went from the outhouse to the penthouse with this owner. I love the fact that he wants to win. I mean, Wilpons didn't care if they won or not. They were just trying to make money, recoup the money they lost with Madoff. They could care less, And I'm going to tell you, not only signing Correa, but even I was almost as excited when they dumped James McCann to the freaking Orioles. What a stiff he is. Oh, my God. And could you imagine? Think about this. With Steve Cohen, they unloaded Robbie Cano's contract. They unloaded James McCann's contract. They're paying most of it. That's never happening with the Wilpons.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we'd be signing Adrian Gonzalez at 40 years old for $300,000 is what they would be doing. And that's the highlight of the offseason. So they're paying 75% of McCann's contract, as we call it. Yeah, Mets Twitter went crazy when they traded McCann. They were so happy. It was almost like they forgot about Verlander and everything else. That was the big move. And I'm excited. And Correa was like the icing on the cake. And if it doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world. He'll go out and get someone else. And I think it's 100% Ohtani's going to be a Met next season.
I would agree with you. I agree with that.
Yeah. Ohtani in New York City, a beautiful thing. Get ready, guys. It's a Mets.
Maybe he can play quarterback.
Probably could. He does everything else. He can pitch.
Like I said, I'm hoping it's Mike White. I mean, even just go out. No matter what happens with the Patriots, go out and win these 2 games. And then to me, that solidifies him. If he plays well and we win these games, Mike White's got to be the guy. You got to either franchise him or you got to give him some kind of
figure the contract out. Yep. Yeah. And I agree with you. If he shows it in these last 2 weeks, they got to figure out a way to get it done this offseason, whatever it takes.
What's the Quinnen Williams contract situation? Is he a free agent at the end of the year?
No, he's not a free agent, but he'd be going into last year of his contract. So typically, they'd want to re-sign him this offseason. He'll be severely underpaid next year, and he hasn't. They could have done it before this year, and he hasn't made a stink about it. So I think they'll get it done this offseason. A long-term contract with him.
Good, he should. He's great. He's a tremendous. He's probably the best defensive tackle in football right now.
Yeah, and he's the guy. He's the guy you've been waiting for. All these years of Leonard Williams and Richardson and Wilkerson, and they were up and down. This guy's been consistently dominant this year.
Unbelievable, no question about it, no doubt.
Well, it's a Mike White Christmas, Joe. Let's close it out. Last time you sang for us.
Here we go.
We need some Christmas spirit to get the Jets some victories here.
I got to sing Christmas songs.
You sang "Summer Wind" last time, so it doesn't have to be Christmas, but something joyful here to close us out.
Something joyful. I'll give you. You want to hit? How about now? I don't know. You guys are young, so you're probably not familiar with Cream. Okay,
I'm familiar with Cream, Joe. I'm familiar with Cream. Yes.
Okay,
I've heard of them.
My wife's laughing because she knows what's coming. So, in honor of Mike White,
White Room.
No, I'm not
White
singing
Room?
White Room. Not White Room. It's not Crossroads. It's not
Okay.
Badge. It's none of
Okay.
that. It's not Sunshine of Your Love.
Okay.
Here it is in honor of Mike White. Here we go. This is a very lyrically challenged song. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, there we
Wow.
go.
You know
Did
that
Jack?
song
On
by
the show.
you
Yeah.
know that song by Cream? You
Did
know
I
that,
Jack
don't
Brian?
Bruce
know.
was that
I don't
Jack
know.
Bruce singing that or Eric Clapton?
No, I think it's Bruce.
I
I
think
think
it's
that's
Bruce.
Bruce.
Yeah. Yes. Oh,
Are
yeah.
you
Yeah.
are you familiar with that song?
I am. I am. I was.
Kaz is.
Yeah. I like.
You say younger. Kaz is his 40s. I'm 31, so I'm a little bit.
Well, I'm going to
Cream
be
was.
70. I'm going to be 70 next year. Just think about this, okay?
Oh.
This just shows you how bad it is being a Jet. And I've been a Jet fan since 1965. Okay, so I saw the Super Bowl, the whole deal. Okay, I remember I was 16 years old. I walked out of the playoff game they lost to the Chiefs in
Right.
1969,
Yep.
13-6. I could still see, Joe Namath was horrible that day. Threw 3 picks, 14 for 40 for 164 yards. He was brutal. They had a first and goal on the goal line. They couldn't. I could see Buck Buchanan and Curly Culp and Bobby Bell stopping everybody on the goal line. Okay, they lost 13-6. I'm coming out of Shea Stadium that day. I'm very upset. My championship. I'm not the champion anymore. And I remember, if you would have told me as I was walking out of Shea Stadium that day, as a 16-year-old kid, that now I would be 70 years old, 70, and not have seen my team back in the Super Bowl, come on, I would have said,
How about?
how is that possible?
How about
But
Joe? What has there been? 3 home playoff games since that game?
let's see,
86.
The first one was
81
81.
was against the
That was
Bills.
the Richard
The
Todd
Bills.
finding the open
Right.
Bill Simpson. Okay.
Yep.
Then the next one was 1985. We lost to the Patriots 26-14 on a Saturday. Okay. All right. That was 85. The next one was the game they actually won. They beat the Chiefs in 86 after they lost that
Right.
5 straight games to go from 10-1 to 10-6. Beat the Chiefs 35-15. And then, of course, lost the disaster in Cleveland, which I still have hemorrhoids from that game, right? That one. The next one after that, let's see, was
the Jaguars.
The Jaguars.
Yeah, Jaguars.
And then the last one was the 2002. We beat the Colts 41-0.
So 5 games in 53 years. 5 home games in 53 years since that one.
Well, wow. Yeah, right. And of course, the AFL title game against the Raiders, which I watched in Philadelphia because it was blacked out in New York.
Right.
Wow. Well, if they make it, it'll likely be in Kansas City on the road. It's not looking like
you know what? I'll sign
Buffalo.
for anybody. Remember what the coach said? The coach said we're going to see the Bills again. So
there
you
never
go.
know.
Maybe the Bills get. Well, now the Bills can't lose to the Patriots, so maybe they lose to the Bengals this week, get knocked out of the number 1 seed, which means they have to play hard to beat New England. And then there they are, and we play. Oh my God! I'd much rather play Buffalo. By the way. Oh, if you told me in the first round who I want to play, Buffalo or Kansas City, I want to play the Bills.
Jets have beat the Bills already. They beat the Bills already.
And really could have beat them. Look, if Mike White doesn't get hurt in the game in Buffalo, okay, and the stupid offensive coordinator on the first play Joe Flacco has going into the game when a guy that wants to be anywhere but playing in that game decides to have him throw a pass and he fumbles, that was brilliant. And then, of course, the other one was the Michael Carter fumble, too, was huge in that game. And that's also the game where freaking C.J. Mosley jumps offside when everybody knows they're not running a play. So we could have won that game, too.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm just going to tell you, if we don't make the playoffs, and we'll see what happens in these 2 weeks, but to this point, this season, there's 3 plays that jump out at me. The first one is the roughing the passer on John Franklin Myers that cost him the touchdown by Michael Carter in the Patriot game. And I told you this the other day. If it was the other way around and it was Devin McCourty running down the sideline and it was Matthew Judon hitting Zach the way that Jones got hit by Franklin Myers, there would have been no penalty. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, Jay, we have not gotten a roughing the passer call go our way all year. Not one. 0. Think about that. 0. Mike White gets break it in half. No roughing the passer. You saw the play the other day with Aaron Rodgers. He got barely touched and they threw the flag. It was a joke. Anyway, so that play, the next one is the drop pass in Minnesota by Braxton Berrios in the end zone. And then the next one is the one in Buffalo with the Pro Bowler jumping offside. So those three plays, more than anything else, kind of jump at me during this season.
Yeah, and I'll add the timeout usage as a coaching play that jumps out on me.
You could even
How about 4th and 1?
Tight end.
Yeah,
right,
4th and
1.
To
but
some guy,
those
Brock
three,
Wright.
for some reason, the Michael Carter, the roughing the passer on Franklin Myers has probably turned the season around the wrong way. Because they know where they lose that game if they're up 17-3 at halftime.
Yeah, that was a buzzkill. Joe Benigno, catch him on Oh the Pain podcast. By the way, Ginger, according to our producer Andrew Hartz, who is a drummer actually for a country singer.
Oh, you said Ginger Baker singing
Ginger
that?
Baker played in Cream, one of the greatest drummers of all time.
Yes,
No.
Yeah, he was a drummer.
Singing that. That's
it was Jack Bruce, Eric Clapton, and Ginger Baker.
Ginger Baker. Oh yeah,
three
we
guys.
knew that.
Super group.
Who
come
was
on,
telling you that? I mean, we think I didn't
Andrew,
know that.
Andrew, our producer, is a drummer, so he favors with the drummers.
Andrew Hartz is a drummer.
Yeah, he's a drummer for a singer named Jessica Lynn, a country singer. So he does some drumming, as well as producing our critically acclaimed podcast. So he does it all, folks.
What critics are acclaiming our podcast, Jake?
I don't know. 5-star rating. Give us a 5-star review. Write it a nice review. We appreciate it.
If you got me singing on podcasts, there's some kind of issue there. I'll tell you that.
Listen, we like to have fun in here. Tiki and Tierney ain't having you sing when they bring you on. So we like to do something a little different.
And I would. I have sung at Christmas parties at the Fan. So
exactly. Well, I'm glad that you sang it, and now putting us in good spirits for Sunday. Oh, the Pain. Catch him on the Fan from time to time as well. Joe Benigno. Happy New Year, and let's go to the playoffs, baby. Appreciate you coming on Gangs on here.
Let's win. Let's win Sunday and go from there. Amen.
Thanks, Joe.
Baby.
All right,
Thanks,
guys.
Joe.